Can you do a full production, 2 guitars and 1 bass using just 1 amp sim? You can if it's a good one. Let's take a look at the SS-11x from Mercuriall. So after seeing some other demos and being pretty impressed by what I had heard from not just the SS-11x but a few things from Mercuriall, I was really excited to get my hands on it. So I set myself a challenge. I wanted to see if I could do both guitars and bass using the same amp sim and give myself just 15 minutes to dial in the sounds. So that's what you heard in the original demo here and what we're going to take a look at here in a minute. I just feel like with all the available options out there, which there are about 1 billion, that one sim being able to do basically everything you would need to get a good solid production down would be a pretty impressive feat. So I decided to see if the Mercuriall could handle it, and I think it did. So let's take a look and see what the features are here. Let's do a quick walkthrough of the interface here, take a look at it, and then we'll talk about how we did the mix. This is basically a software emulation of the AMT SS-11A and B series foot pedal preamps, and from the other demos I've seen, it apparently does a pretty dead-on job of emulating them. So if you have one of these, this is right in your wheelhouse. The things that I like the most about it is this seems like it could be really well suited if you want to use a modeler live. Everything's laid out simply, and it's a one-page interface, which I really like. A lot of cab sims and stuff and emulators, you can get a lot of options and things, but you have to go through multiple pages. This one's fast. Everything's right in front of you. There's no heavy navigation to be done. So starting in, you have pretty much everything set really simply and really obvious. You have a noise gate. You've got a set of boost pedals and distortions, and it's a good selection. Good models were picked, and I didn't try out any of these that I thought was really just not up to par. But for this one, I just decided to go with the 808 standard. Then you have the cab IR section, and you have a basic reverb in here, which actually sounded surprisingly good. Now, on the IR section, I really like that they outsourced a bit and went for a number of different makers for their different cab sims. A lot of times when you get a suite like this, all of the impulses were made by the original company, and they're all kind of flavors of the same, whereas this you can get radically different sounds. They're all different takes on different cabinets, mics, blends. So you've got a real ton of available sounds in here, and they're actually really good. I didn't come across any that I just thought were completely non-functional or didn't help things. So for this one, I decided to go ahead with the Mesa 412 V30, SM57, and a Rode mic on it. A really obvious setup, used a lot, and it sounded good. So now on this section, what you have is basically a 3-channel preamp. You've got a clean section, a drive section, and then you can go in between crunch and lead. You've got micro adjustments up here to make some shift options available to you, bright switch. Then you've got the standard bass, mid, and treble, and then you've got separate gains for the clean, the crunch, and the lead channel, which that was really useful. I like that feature a lot. One other cool thing about this before we get into it is that you can turn the preamp off completely with one switch, still use the pedal section and the IR section with other, if you want to use a different preamp for another reason going through, any other combinations you might think of. So that's a cool thing, and to have it be available right there on the front. And also you have a tuner, and inside the setup, along with the ability to switch between the preamps, is some tube options and your oversampling set. So now for this one, I'm using just a little bit of cut and bass, boosted the mids a little bit of high, popped on a boost pedal here and left it at default settings, picked out an IR I thought sounded good, and let's check out the left-hand channel. So for this one, I went for one from USoundWorks, that's the only difference, and I went with a Mesa Orange and Marshall blend, and then this one left bass flat, boosted mids and highs a little bit, hit the bright switch on that one, and that was it. That seemed to get two really good, well-blended sounds that function well together. So let's solo those and take a look. Now for the bass channel, I went fairly simple as well. No boost pedal, no noise gate. Went to the same Mesa Orange and Marshall cab I used in one of the guitars. It just sounded good on bass. I decided to go for something with kind of a ratty kind of gnarly sound that would marry well with the drums and would still cut through the guitars. So something that would sit right in that sweet spot in the middle, be able to cut through guitars, but also tie into the kick and the toms and give some oomph to the bottom. So I went with the crunch channel, brought the gain down a little bit, took a shift in, added a little bit of bass, a little bit of mids, a little bit of highs. That simple. So to hear how this sounds, let's check this out with the drums and bass and see what we got. So now let's unsolo everything, hear the full mix again, and see how everything sits. So my final thoughts on it are, this thing is an incredible bargain, honestly. I mean, there's, again, a billion choices out there right now, but this is at an absolute bargain price. They run a sale almost continuously from what I've seen. I don't think I've seen it go over 50 bucks. It handles bass, obviously. It does guitar. There's a ton of options inside of it, and the sound and the way it feels are just, I'd put it up against just about anything else. The folks at Mercurial were kind enough to send me out a few of their items and their other software sims, so I'm definitely going to be demoing those and using them in some other demonstrations and ideas coming up. So check back for those. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, you know how it works. Yeah, so maybe we'll do another production challenge. If you have any ideas or things you'd like to see in the upcoming demos, hit me down below in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm always open for your ideas. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. Links below again for Mercurial and where to find this pretty killer piece of software. And thanks for watching as always. I'll see you on the next one.